The news day continues here on One News Now. I'm Riza Diaz. Tensions run high in some parts of the country as the barangay and Sangguniang Kabataan elections draw near. Over 100 cops arrived in Bukay, Abra on Friday following the reported presence of a private armed group in the municipality. Comelec said that there are at least 8 barangays placed under orange category due to suspected election-related violence. Now, residents meanwhile welcome the added security personnel in their locality. Now, in General Luna, Quezon, one candidate for barangay chairman was gunned down by still unidentified assailants. According to police, Ruben Ilagan, incumbent village councilor of Barangay Malaya, was on his way home when he was murdered. Comelec, however, has yet to determine whether the killing is election-related. And more teachers have backed out of serving as election watchers in Cotabato City. This comes after 2 candidates for village councilors and their supporter were killed while putting up campaign posters on October 23. Currently, there are 800 police officers being deployed to the Bangsamoro region. About 300 of them will go straight to Cotabato City. The Comelec is optimistic for a quick release of the results of the barangay and Sangguniang elections as it will be done manually. Francis Orsio with the report.
Voting for the barangay and Sangguniang Kabataan elections ends at 3 o'clock in the afternoon on October 30. After that comes the crucial process of counting the votes. 3 barangays will conduct automated elections for the first time. These are Barangay Pasong Tamo in Quezon City and Barangays Paliparan 3 and Zone 3 in Dasmariñas, Cavite. Meanwhile, the rest of the country will conduct manual elections. Before the actual counting, the Board of Election Inspectors will conduct an initial check of the ballots without unfolding them. This is to ensure that there are no duplicate ballots and that the number of voters match the number of ballots. Afterwards, the ballots will be opened and grouped into piles of 100. The chairman will then read the names of candidates and the position they were voted for, marking each counted ballot. These votes will be tallied and recorded in the returns. When only a first name or last name is written on the ballot, it will still be counted as long as there are no other candidates with the same name. However, if there are candidates with the same first or last name and one of them is an incumbent, the vote will go to the incumbent. A ballot with 2 or more last names of different candidates is considered invalid unless one of the surnames is the name of an incumbent. In that case, the vote counts for the incumbent. Ballots with nicknames or terms of affection are valid if accompanied by the candidate's first name or surname. Ballots that contain only initials or don't sufficiently identify the candidate are considered stray votes, but this doesn't invalidate the entire ballot. Likewise, votes for disqualified candidates are also considered stray votes, and just the same, this does not invalidate the ballot. However, any ballot that clearly appears to have been filled out by 2 different persons is totally null and void. In case of discrepancies between the tally and election returns, a recount will be conducted. All counted ballots are placed in an envelope, sealed and stored in the compartment of valid ballots. Election inspectors must prepare 6 copies of the return, which will be given to the City or Municipal Board of Canvassers, the election registrar, and the Comelec. Once the election returns are completed, the chairman of the election inspectors will publicly announce the total votes each candidate received in the polling place. They will also issue certificates of the number of votes received by the candidates. Despite the manual conduct of this year's BSKE elections in most localities, Comelec Chairman George Garcia is optimistic that it won't take long before the winners are proclaimed.
Pag automated, mga bandang 6 o'clock, may proclamation at po doon. Wala po itong transmission ng results sapagkat wala naman po itatransmit ng result electronically. Ang mangyayari po, pagkatapos ang pagbilang, yung po SD cards ng mga makina ay dadalhin po doon kung saan ang canvassing area, manual uploading po ang tawag doon. Sasama-samahin ng mga boto at yun ang mag-print at magiging basihan. Samantala, pag po manual election, baka po abutin tayo ng 9 hanggang 10 o'clock yung mismong proklamasyon.
Mobile journalist Francis Orsio, we are One News.
Now, this upcoming BSKE election has been widely covered after years of postponement. But why exactly is it important? Political analyst Professor Edmund Tayo told the big story that village polls set the ground for the next round of elections involving higher level officials. Barangay leaders are the ones that deliver the votes up for municipal, provincial, and congressional district candidates. They are also the ones responsible for the immediate needs of the barangay community. Over 1.4 million BSKE bets from over 42,000 barangays have filed their candidacy for Monday's election.
We know for a fact, of course, that the barangay elections is the prelude, no, to higher level of elections. In fact, the reason why it has become more and more contested, no, by different political groups is precisely because the barangay leaders become mainly the agents of the higher level political leaders. So very crucial sa kanila yung barangay elections. It's also a preparation for the next elections, next round of elections.
We'll be back with more stories after the break. Keep it here on One News. You're still watching One News Now. I'm Riza Diaz. Survivors of the mass shooting at a restaurant and bowling alley in Maine, United States, recounted the horrors of the attack. The details in this report by the Associated Press.
We were enjoying our supper and you know, teasing each other actually at that moment at the bowling alley. And she was waiting for her turn. And she was goofing around doing something beside at the table. And I heard, like I said, it's all I can attribute to is close to the loudest firework you've ever heard in your life. And then we hear another shot, and that's when I see somebody get hit and fall. And but I froze. You know, we'd like to think that we wouldn't freeze. And it was that particular moment that at least she reacted very quickly and ran. But it was just out of my peripheral vision that I didn't see where she went. I couldn't see if she had gone towards the noise too, because she's equally as helpful as I am, or if she was still behind me. They turned the booth around, and so we were able to get behind there, and I had another child with me whose mom was not with us at that particular moment. Eventually, when it went silent, that was the part that was, like, I don't even know how to explain to people when it's silent like that. You're like, is he hunting? Or is he dead? Is it safe? Are the police in here? We can't hear anything, but then we start hearing people, you know? And it's like, are they hurt? You know? At some point, I yelled even, I'm like, does anybody see Tony? You know? And then the people in my corner, of course, were, and I understand they were panting, they're like, quiet, you know? I'm like, I know, you're right, I gotta stay quiet.
There was 3 gunshots that I heard before I ran out of the building. The first one, because I saw people playing pool, I thought like it was like the pool ball, like it might like hit them hard. And then the second one, someone was bowling, so I thought like they dropped their bowling ball. And then the third one, when I walked over to see like if someone's hurt, I saw a person get shot and fall off their stool. There was 3 other people I ran with to Subway. We hid in the bushes behind Subway, and then the mother of the other little child called her ex-boyfriend to come pick us up.
Said her first words to me were, "I'm not dead, Pepe." And I broke down because it was so rewarding to hear that, and because I'd been through 2 hours of hell.
And I know it's probably not everybody's same thought process, but I don't have hatred right now. I have questions.
Meanwhile, the Metro Manila Council has backed the removal of the window hours in the capital region. Speaking to One Balita Pilipinas, MMC President and San Juan City Mayor Francis Zamora said that the proposal was already discussed and agreed upon by NCR mayors. Now, based on an MMC resolution recently published, the number coding scheme in Metro Manila will be implemented from 7 in the morning to 7 p.m. But the MMDA has since clarified that it is still studying the proposal. Meanwhile, Zamora emphasized that San Juan is well prepared for the influx of people during Undas. He also reiterated the extended operating hours of San Juan Public Cemetery from 6 in the morning till 12 midnight, starting today, October 28, until November 2. And those are the top stories of the hour. Join us later at 2 in the afternoon as we continue to monitor the day's biggest stories. Catch our special coverage of the Barangay and Sangguniang Kabataan elections on Monday, October 30, beginning 6:30 in the morning. I'm Riza Diaz. We are One News.